Chart imitates life. At the end of this one, you can take a picture of your TV screen, cut it out, and tape it up on your refrigerator. Or get a magnet, stick it up there permanent. Ready? Chart imitates life. Here is what Republicans have done in government since the election in November. The great state of Texas has 42 facilities that provide abortions, among other women's health needs across the state. Today, the Republicans in the Texas Assembly voted again on legislation that is expected to close 37 of those 42 clinics. The bill now moves to the Senate, where the Republicans have the numbers to pass it there, too. And Republican Governor Rick Perry is eager to sign it. So under Republican governance this year, it looks like the number of places where Texas women can get an abortion will drop from 42 to 5. That's Texas. In Wisconsin, there are currently 4 facilities that provide abortions, among other women's health needs across the state. On this past Friday of the long holiday weekend, Republican Governor Scott Walker of Wisconsin signed into law the bill the Republicans passed through the legislature there that's expected to close 2 of those 4 facilities. So under Republican governance this year, it looks like the number of places where Wisconsin women can get an abortion will drop from 4 to 2. That's Wisconsin. In Mississippi, there's only 1 facility in the whole state that provides abortion, among other women's health needs. Just 1 place. Last year, the Republican governor there, Phil Bryant, signed into law legislation passed by the Republicans in the legislature that would close that last remaining facility in the state. So under Republican governance in Mississippi, it looks like the number of places where the women of Mississippi can get an abortion will drop from 1 to none at all. There would be nowhere in Mississippi that a woman could go for an abortion. That's Mississippi. Same story in North Dakota. There was only 1 facility in the far eastern part of the state that provides abortions in the state. In March, Republican lawmakers passed a law designed to force that 1 remaining clinic to be closed. So under Republican governance in North Dakota this year, the number of places where women in the state can get an abortion will drop from 1 to 0. In North Dakota, there will be 0 facilities providing abortions. It's North Dakota. Alabama has 5 facilities that provide abortions, among other women's health needs, across the state. In April, the Republican governor of Alabama signed a bill that would close 3 of those 5 facilities. So under Republican governance this year, it looks like the number of places where women in Alabama can get an abortion will drop from 5 to 2. In Virginia, there were 20 facilities that provide abortions, among other women's health needs across the state. In April, after threats from the Attorney General, Ken Cuccinelli, the State Board of Health voted to rubber stamp a law passed by the Republican-controlled legislature that is designed to close 16 of those 20 facilities. So under Republican governance in Virginia, it looks like the number of places where women in Virginia can get an abortion will drop from 20 to 4. That's Virginia. In Ohio, there were 12 facilities that provide abortions, among other women's health needs across the state, but Republican lawmakers there passed a law to close 4 of those 12 remaining facilities. So under Republican governance this year, it looks like the number of places where Ohio women can get an abortion will drop from 12 to 8. That's Ohio. In North Carolina, there are currently 16 facilities that provide abortions, among other women's health needs across the state. Because of what the state has been going through in the state legislature in the last couple of weeks. Just today, Republicans sneaking abortion restriction language into a motorcycle safety bill. Because of that maneuvering in the North Carolina state legislature, 15 of the 16 clinics in the state are now in danger of closing. So under Republican governance this year, it looks like the number of places where women in North Carolina can get an abortion may drop from 16 to 1. That's just North Carolina. We have been covering this state by state as this has been happening this year. First in Mississippi, then in North Dakota, then in Virginia, and now almost everywhere where Republicans have control. But if you stop looking at it per individual states, it's a pretty dramatic thing that is happening to American women right now. If instead of covering it just state by state, you put it all on the same map, look at what Republicans have set in motion just since the November election. This shows the current number of clinics where an American woman can access abortion now in states where Republicans are in charge and they've decided to go after that right. This is before the Republican Party's blitz to shut down clinics this year. And this is after. We have been covering this state by state, but we never before looked at the overall impact. This is what Republican governors and Republican legislators have done across the country. All of these trap laws that use targeted state regulations to shut down clinics, this is the impact. I mean, don't let anybody tell you, right? Look at that. Don't let anybody tell you that governing doesn't matter. Where Republicans have taken the reins of state power across the country, they have used it single-mindedly to shut down women's health clinics a mite amain just since the last election. And it's not like we didn't have a national fight about this issue in that election. I mean, for their national ticket in 2012, the Republicans picked an anti-abortion hardliner ticket, a vice presidential contender who said he would even force rape victims to bear a rapist's child against their will. And a presidential contender who, for his part, pledged frequently to end Planned Parenthood. He said he would cut off federal funding for Planned Parenthood. He would end it. He said he would overturn Roe versus Wade. That's what he hoped for. The Democrats responded to the Republicans' initiatives in that front by stepping up their support for women's rights. President Obama addressing Planned Parenthood directly. Democrats running ads up and down the ticket, not just at the presidential level, but throughout the country, in Republican Democratic general election races all over the country, saying that Democrats would be the ones to defend women's right and ability to decide themselves on their own pregnancies without the government. Democrats warning across the country that a vote for Republicans would be a vote to ban abortion in this country.
If Roe v. Wade was overturned, Congress passed a federal ban on all abortions, and it came to your desk, would you sign it? Yes or no?
Let me say it. I'd be delighted to sign that bill.
Banning all abortions?
I'd be delighted to sign that bill.
Trying to mislead us, that's wrong. But ban all abortions? Only if you vote for him.
And it turns out even if you don't vote for him. Because, you know, in the last election, in November 2012, which was not that long ago, Mitt Romney lost in a landslide. Republicans lost the last election nationally really badly. They lost the White House really badly. They lost seats in the Senate. They lost seats in the House. Nationally, in the last election, Republicans lost and Democrats won. But national isn't everything. And if Republicans are in control in your state, this is what they have decided to do with state governance now. Since that election, this is what they have decided state governance is for now. If you live where the Republican Party is in control right now, this is your life. I know it's not a Beltway story, doesn't feel like a national story because nobody adds up what happens in the individual states to see how it affects American women, to see how it affects American rights in an aggregate sense. That's not the way we do Beltway reporting in this country. But this is a national story that is significant in terms of the way it's going to affect women's health, women's lives, and American families for a generation to come. This is a national story. That does it for us tonight. We will see you again tomorrow night. Now it is time for The Last Word with Lawrence O'Donnell. Have a good one. Thanks for being with us.